The 2024 tax season is just around the corner, but the question is will your operation be ready? Now, inside of today's video, I'm going to talk about some of the common problems and challenges that American family farm operations face when it comes to tax planning effectively and making sure they're giving the least amount of money they possibly can to Uncle Sam. So let's get into it. Now, the first question that I'm going to ask you is, when should you actually start tax planning? You see, for a majority of family farm operations, just business owners in general, this is one of the last things that they even do, and most of them, they don't even think about it. But the reality is, for a lot of our customers, and when they first came into Legacy Farmer years ago, they typically started to have the stories start creeping in at the end of October going into November because they didn't know where they were going to end up for at the end of the year. And this idea of having to have a big tax bill, or just this idea of not knowing, right? The lack of certainty really started to eat away at them. Now, the reason that this is a big problem here is because most people, when it comes to an idea of what tax planning is, for most people inside the ag industry, this is them taking in a box of receipts to their accountant the first part of December, the second week of December, or things like that, and then expecting their accountant to take all this basically shit and disorganization and chaos and receipts and all that type of stuff there and give them the answer that they want to know, which is, how much money do I need to spend to not have to pay any money into Uncle Sam or the IRS at the end of the year? This is that big question there. Now, there are a lot of problems with this type of strategy, and I don't have time to get into all of them with you. But the first part here that you need to understand is, when you're not structured and organized like this, you're ultimately setting yourself up for failure. And more importantly than that, you're setting your accountant up for failure as well. You see, if I were to walk into your office and I just brought in a box full of receipts and just disorganized numbers and things like that, and I wanted you to use your business expertise to tell me what's working and not working inside of my business, would you be able to do that? Probably not. You'd probably say, dream on, buddy. There's no way that I have time to go through and organize all these numbers. Get your stuff together first and then present it to me. You see, this is where you're setting your accountant up for failure. You're expecting your accountant to sit there and take all this disorganization and chaos and turn around within 2 weeks and give you an answer on the exact dollar amount you should be spending at the end of the year. So that's problem number one here. And you spend the entire year, or at least part of it, they're stressed about what that answer is going to be, and you're just not setting yourself up for success in doing it this way. Now, the second problem that comes from this is dependent upon what your accountant gives you as the answer to that question. How much money do I need to spend? Now, there's actually two problems that are born from this type of scenario. One, your accountant is going to give you that dollar amount and you are going to go buy things that you don't need for the operation. The second problem is that in the years going forward from this, what if you can't afford the things that you're buying today? This is something that we've seen happen time and time again with customers coming into Legacy Farmer, where a lot of the problems that they're trying to solve today were because of the poor business decisions that they made in prior years, like buying assets or equipment or whatever it may be, things that they don't need, just so they don't have to pay in a little bit of money to Uncle Sam and the IRS. This is ultimately going to lead up to being a massive problem for you. And this is why inside of Legacy Farmer, we are so focused on helping our customers be structured and organized clear throughout the year. That way, when it gets time for tax planning, they already have their numbers structured and organized just to send in their cash flow statements and everything into their accountant, so that their accountant can very clearly see and say to them exactly what that dollar amount should be. But also too, now we're opening up the possibility for us to have this conversation on things we should buy versus shouldn't buy, and should we actually, just pay in a little bit more money this year, so that we're not setting ourselves up for failure in the future. Now, we've had tons of problems like this exist inside the industry over a number of years, and I've seen it time and time again. This idea and this habit of just buying stuff at the end of the year, no matter the dollar amount, just so you don't pay any taxes in. I have seen so many of those family farm operations actually end up failing because they just did not plan appropriately. And when you don't have clarity in the numbers, you can't have these types of discussions. You're going to do whatever you have to every year to not pay any taxes, because the operation can't afford to pay any taxes, which just means you're borrowing more money, paying more interest, and ultimately can lead to you buying things you don't need that could be the one thing that actually ends the operation or sinks the operation in the future. Now, to go back and answer the question here of when should you start tax planning? Well, if you're structured and organized, tax planning for you for 2024 started in October, right? We're in the middle of November here as of the recording of this video here, and all of our customers have already had 1 or 2 meetings with their accountant as they get closer to the end of the year, because our customers are already structured and organized here. You need to understand the advantage that our customers have when it comes to being able to save dollars in taxes, just so you know, but also too, just have an efficient plan put together and a strategic plan put together for 2024 2024, but also 2025 and the years going forward after that even as well. This is what happens when you have your numbers structured and organized. The entire conversation changes between you and your banker, you and your business partners, you and your spouse, and you and your accountant there as well. So you need to understand what this is costing you by not simply having your numbers structured and organized. It is impacting you in so many areas of your business, and you need to understand that this is the one thing that could literally change everything in the future of your business. Now, the second point here and question I really want to answer for you is, what is the best way that a farmer, rancher, ag business owner can actually prepare for tax season the right way? Well, we already kind of talked about it, but the first and foremost is going to be getting your numbers structured and organized. And not just when you feel like it throughout the year, but literally on a monthly basis. This is what our customers inside of the Legacy Farmer do every single month, and they use our software called Farmer Metrics. And Farmer Metrics is built to support you in multiple different ways. Not only looking at your numbers from a business owner perspective and having financial clarity into the decisions that you're making and putting strategy together and should I buy this or should I not and things like that, but also they're put together in a way that's going to show you exactly what your banker is looking at and how the bank works and how they're using your information to make interest rate decisions or loan decisions or anything like that. And it's going to give you all the leverage there when it comes to negotiating for better interest rates as well. And then the final piece here is the accountant. Is everything inside of our software called Farmer Metrics is structured so that you can just simply export your reports, hand them over to your accountant, and it's everything your accountant needs to go through and help you tax plan efficiently at the end of the year. But again, though, a majority of family farm operations want to avoid putting their numbers together, versus in Legacy Farmer, the standard is we update these minimum on a month-by-month basis. That way, we are always keeping track of these numbers here that run your operation, guys. And I don't have to tell you the number of family farm operations that have went under over the years because they simply weren't tracking numbers. I know them, and I know that you know them as well, sitting in your county or in your region there, and they went under because they just got too far underwater. They had to take on additional debt. They didn't tax plan effectively. There's a number of reasons here, but all of them are based on the simple reality that these operations did not track their numbers and know their numbers as well as they should have. And this is a number one thing that we focus on helping our customers with inside of Legacy Farmer. And because of that, our standard is updating those numbers on a month-by-month basis. That way, when it comes to time for October, we can start tax planning there. And our customers already know 30, 60, or 90 days in advance what their tax bill is going to be and what they need to buy and sell before the end of the year to make sure that, one, we're not buying things we don't need, but two, we're also doing everything we can to minimize that tax bill as much as possible. Now, at the end of the day, there are ultimately two types of farmers inside of this industry when it comes to tax planning. There are proactive farmers and there are reactive farmers. Now, but for my numbers, they're about 95% of them are on the reactive side of this. Now, what do I mean by this? You're a reactive farmer when it comes to tax planning if you are taking in a box of receipts to your accountant December 1st through December 15th and expecting them to give you an accurate answer on exactly what dollar amount you should be spending to not pay in any taxes to the IRS at the end of the year. Or worse than this, you're a reactive farmer in a way to where you are actually trying to backdate checks in January of the new year. You're trying to backdate checks into December to tax plan at that time. Guys, this is just breeding disaster inside of your operations. It's creating all the stress and anxiety for you through the holiday season. This is the cost of not having your numbers structured and organized throughout the year. Now, the other side of this, though, is we talked about a reactive farmer when it comes to tax planning. What about a proactive one? These are the ones that are obviously structured and organized month by month throughout the year, and their tax planning starts in October. And now, when we get into the holiday seasons, when they're supposed to be focused on spending time with family and things like that, our customers are relaxed. They understand. They already know what the game plan is for the end of the year. They already know what they need to buy, what they need to sell. They already know what their tax bill is going to be. We have a game plan in place. And the biggest thing here is that our customers are not going to be putting themselves into a position where they have to buy things at the end of the year just to not pay any taxes that the operation may not actually need. And I'm talking about equipment or anything like that, where yes, it may work right now for you to go ahead and get it financed, but what if it doesn't work in the coming years? Or what if it's something that the operation doesn't need and can't financially sustain here going forward? These are the things that sink family farm operations, my friends, and it's literally this simple to go from being a reactive tax planning farmer to a proactive tax planning farmer. It's just as simple as just getting your numbers structured and organized and knowing where the heck you're at financially and being able to give these reports to your accountant. And I promise you, we have worked with hundreds of family farm operations over the years. And just in working with these families, when they finally get things structured and organized, they sit there and they wonder, man, what would have happened to my operation or to our finances if I would have done it this way for the past 10 or 20 years versus the way that we've been doing it, which is no organization, operating in chaos, shooting from the hip financially, and just having no idea idea what their strategy or game plan is going into the new year. I don't want people to be in that position because I've seen it time and time again, just like you have. This is the number one thing that sinks family farm operations. So at the end of the day, you're going to have to make a decision on what type of farmer do you want to be going forward into 2025. And ultimately, do you want to continue to be a reactive farmer that's just shooting from the hip and guessing, or do you want to be proactive and finally get your numbers structured and organized so you're no longer guessing going into the new year? Now, my friends, if anything I've said here is connected with you, then you need to understand that I know the mental burden that you've been carrying for a number of years, right? At the end of the day, you feel lost, you feel stressed, you feel all this anxiety and this weight on your shoulders because deep down, you know that you're just guessing and you're just like, honestly, just kind of getting by year after year. And I hate that a majority of family farm operations are in that place and you're feeling that, because that's the type of stuff that just keeps you up in the middle of the night. 2 a.m. or 3 a.m., you just wake up and you're wide awake just staring at the ceiling because deep down, you have no idea what your tax bill is going to be at the end of the year. You have no idea what your financial game plan is for 2025. You have no idea whether or not the bank is going to renew your operating line of credit or what the interest rate is going to be. You have no idea. There are so many questions on every side of the operation, and I do not want you to feel that way. And this is why inside a Legacy Farmer, we are taking our customers and their operations from a place of disorganization and chaos to a place of confidence and clarity. So they're no longer laying awake in the middle of the night, staring at the ceiling, wondering what the heck is going to happen going forward with our operation. Our customers have a game plan in place, not only for the operational side point, but also from an accounting and tax planning standpoint, also too from a banking standpoint as well. If you want to feel that, then go to legacyfarmer.com and sign up for a free call with our team today. Now, on that call, we are going to get to know a lot more about you, your operations, and the specific challenges that you are facing there as well. But you're also going to get to know about us, right? Our process and things that we've proven out working with these family operations over the years. And at the end of the call, we're going to see whether or not we are a good fit to work together. And if we are, we move forward. If we're not, no harm, no foul. So if you're interested in learning more about Legacy Farmer, click on the link below in the description of this video and sign up for a free call with our team today.